Hey, welcome back to another episode of Kolbiak Fishing. Today, I got my boy Henry here, and we're going to be turning all of this stuff into this. So stay tuned. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a DIY build today. Are you ready to do that? Yeah. So we're going to be taking all of this wood and lumber and I'm going to be making a workbench. I've been wanting one for a really long time, something I can keep stuff stored under to get it up off the ground. And also the main point is I want it to fit right underneath this folding workbench that I built out of just a door core. So, I know. So let's get into the build and I'll show you step by step on how I did it. All right, so here is everything that we're gonna need for this build of this workbench. First thing you can obviously see is this big thing of plywood. It is 3/4 inch plywood. See right there. And you'll need about 10 2x4s. That's what I'm starting with. We might use all of them, we might not, but we'll see. You'll need the no, you won't need the instructions. You'll need something to measure with. I'm going to use a speed square to help level. Pencil, safety first. A drill, maybe 2 to help you out. So I got an impact driver here as well as my cordless drill. Something to cut with. You can certainly use a saw, but who wants to do that? Something to sand it down. You can use hand sander or an electric sander. We got caster wheels. We'll see if these work. And then just to finish it off, make it look nice and pretty, have some stain and some polyurethane. Let's go. All right, so the reason why I want a new workbench is I want to have something to be able to slide underneath here and store some of the stuff that I have just sitting on the floor. Also, I want to have a little bit more countertop space, so if I'm working here on this foldable workbench, I can have something that can slide out and I can just have some more countertop space. But before I even start building it, because I could have just downloaded some plans and built it up, I got to figure out how big I want it to be in here. So what I need to do is I need to measure what height the whole thing needs to be in order to slide underneath here with the casters, the legs, the tabletop, all of that combined and put together. All right, so what I've done is I've made just like kind of a test piece fit to see if it'll fit underneath. So this total distance right here, I'm looking at my drawing with a bunch of crap on it. This total distance that needs to fit underneath here is 36.5 inches if I measured and did math correctly, which there's no guarantee because I'm not the best at the numbers. So 36.5 inches total. Well, we have this piece of 3/4 inch plywood. That's a section from an old junk piece. And I just kind of drilled it to a 2x4 that is 33 inches. And then this wheel that we have, the caster, is 2 3/4 inches. So that's a lot of numbers. So basically, let's see if that all adds up to about 36.5. So if we want that table to kind of slide underneath here, here is the test to see if it will. I mean, that is pretty tight once it's there, but I have some clearance. So I think what we're going to do is I think we're just going to roll with it and say 36.5 is where we're at. And if we need to sand down the top of it to make sure that it'll fit once we get it on there, we'll do that. But I mean that's in there. So since I have 4 legs that I'm going to be making, each leg is going to consist of 2 2x4s that are going to be 33 inches long. So that means I need to cut out 8 total, and since I already have this one, that's 7. Look at me doing math. Man, I'm feeling good about this. All Alright, so now that I've got all the legs cut, I need to start assembling them. So I'm just going to take 3 screws and put them into each of the sides here, and then connect them together. Alright, 4 legs. Now we need to make the frame, and we got to measure first for it, and then measure twice, and then cut, right? That's what you're supposed to do. So let's get that frame measured. Alright, so my maximum distance, hey, what's up? It looks like it's 72 inches from the little connector to this leg on the pre-existing table. So let's just shoot for 71. Let's just go 70 so that way I can have some breathing room on either side. Alright, now I'm going to attach the top part of the frame to the sides, and then after that I'll measure the interior portions for the top part of the frame. Alright, so now we have the sides of the new workbench attached to the legs. Now we need to get these little depth legs to see how far back it needs to go underneath here. So what I need to do first is I need to measure and just double check and see how far it is that I have to roll underneath here. And so it looks like about 26.5 inches. So that 26.5 inches will be from here to here. So that new piece will be attached on the outside of this part and on the outside of the other end. So I don't know if this is a happy coincidence or if the numbers played out how they were supposed to, but clearly they did. But the pieces that were left over from cutting the legs are exactly 26.5 inches. So we're just going to use these that are already pre-cut, screw them on. got some company to help out. All right, so now we need to add 2 brace pieces for the top. Buddy, you want to hold this right there? Hold that right there. Okay. And these look like they need to be 23¼ inches long. Will you come check and see how far it needs to be over here? And I'm just going to add 2 because it is kind of short. So let's see. That also is 23¼ Hey, yeah, you did a good job. So need 2 of them that are 23¼ inches long. So let's go cut. I think we did a good job. All right, so now I'm going to attach the wheels to the bottom. Does that sound good, Henry? My supervisor says it sounds good. Yeah, you want to check it out? Yeah. Okay, just spin it. We're going to add the Bobbin frame that's going to extend on the inside this time from here all the way over to this portion. So I need to measure out how far it is from here to here and from here to here. Hopefully it's the same distance if I've been squaring things up appropriately. And then we're going to cut it and do the same thing like what we did before, and then add the other braces on the sides as well. Little camera bump. Alright, and this is 67½ inches. Alright, we have our 2 side pieces for the bottom shelf, and now we're going to attach them. Alright, so now we're going to add the bracers right here for this part of the frame. We just need to figure out how long that is. We'll go 20. Let's go cut. All right, last thing we need to do for the frame is add the support pieces here and here. We'll be good to go. right, let's flip it over and see what she looks like. Here we go. That's heavy. Oh gosh. Boom. There she is. A workbench without a tabletop. Am I right, buddy? And now all I need to do is attach the tabletops. Alright, so we measured it and it's going to be 73 by 26.5. So I'm going to make the marks and then I'm going to set up a little track and cut it while it's up here. Alright, looks good. Now we're just going to screw her down. So here's what we got to do. We have to slide this under to see if it will actually fit with the top on, and that's the final test. And after that, it's just applying the bottom, what is that thing? Applying the bottom shelf, and then staining, or sanding, staining, and poly. All right, so here we go. Unlock all the wheels. Moment of truth, babe. Fingers crossed. Oh God, it's so close.
Oh no.
Oh no. In the middle. The middle. Look at the sides. Yeah, it's just that. Oh, we can. If my calculations are correct, it doesn't fit. All right, so it's day 2. I had to take a little break because I kind of ran into an issue, if you remember from the last clip, where the workbench wasn't fitting under the pre-existing workbench. So the solution I came up with is I put a lift on that old girl right there. So I put a little piece of extra plywood that we had, and then cut out little circles and duct tape them to the bottom of the legs there. And then also, see if you can see this, on the hinge, I added a piece of plywood there, and at the far end, if you can see it there, and then did the same thing on the other leg on that side. So, hopefully, she'll now slide smoothly underneath there, but we'll see. All right, here comes the big reveal. But before we do that, I don't know if you can tell, I put the bottom shelf on as well. Did that off camera. Sorry if that hurt your feelings. All right, here we go, buddy. You gonna help me push it in? All right, let's come this way, come that way. Looky there, looky there. Boom. Exactly how we planned it. No snafus except for it not fitting, which is the whole purpose of us making it. But it's there. Now the only thing left to do is sand it down, stain it, and then put a coat of poly over the top just to protect it. Well, here it is, the final product. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I love the stain, the color on the workbench. You can also put a coat of poly on top of it. I'm very pleased with how it came out, and the ultimate purpose of doing this was to have a workbench that would fit underneath my current folding little workbench top here. And let's see if it works. As you see, it fits perfectly underneath there. Snug as a bug in a rug. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this different kind of episode that's normally on my channel. It's not a kayaking or fishing or unboxing of fishing supplies. It's a kind of DIY build. But if you want to see more things like this, I'm trying to get a little bit more handy. So if you're interested in seeing something or want me to build something, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see if there's something I can do about that. But until next time, keep those lines tight.